Welcome back to Grammar Grade 12. This is Unit 6, Lesson 44, and today we tackle a spot where even careful writers slip. Subject-verb agreement, when the subject comes after the verb. Normally, the subject leads and the verb follows, so matching them is easy. But English loves to flip that order. In sentences that start with there or here, in questions, and in sentences turned around for emphasis. When the order flips, the subject can hide behind the verb, and it gets tempting to match the verb to the wrong word. Here's the promise for today. No matter where the subject sits, the verb still has to agree with it in number. Find the real subject, and the agreement takes care of itself. Let's dig in. Let's start with a clear picture of what's really going on. Here's the key idea. An inverted sentence is one where the subject follows the verb. In most sentences, the subject comes first and the verb comes after. The lantern flickers. But sometimes a writer flips the order, so the verb comes first and the subject trails behind it. Flickers the lantern. Why does this matter to us? Because the verb still has to agree with its subject in number, singular with singular and plural with plural, even when the subject is tucked in behind the verb. So your one job in an inverted sentence is to hunt down the true subject, wherever it's hiding, and match the verb to it. Now let's meet the most common inverted sentences of all, the ones that begin with there or here. Here's the rule to lock in. There and here are never the subject. They're just signal words that shove the real subject over to the far side of the verb. Take this sentence. There are 3 seats left. It feels like there is the subject, but it isn't. Look right past it. The real subject is seats, and seats is plural, so the verb has to be the plural are. If you ever catch yourself matching the verb to there or here, stop. Those words simply can't be subjects, so slide past them and find the noun that can. Questions invert too, and they trip people up for exactly the same reason. In a question, the verb, or at least a piece of it, jumps out in front of the subject. Look at this one. Where are the tickets? The word where isn't the subject, it's just launching the question. Here's a reliable move for any question. Turn it back into a statement in your head. Where are the tickets becomes the tickets are somewhere. And now the subject and the verb stand side by side, easy to match. The subject is tickets, which is plural, so we need are, not is. When a helping verb leads the question, the same thing happens. In do the players warm up? The helper do sits out front, but its subject, players, is plural, so do is the right choice. Sometimes writers invert a sentence on purpose, for drama or rhythm, by opening with a phrase that tells where or how. Listen, down the valley roll the fog banks. Feel how that lands harder than the plain, the fog banks roll down the valley. But the drama can distract you. The opening phrase, down the valley, looks like it could be the subject, yet a phrase like that never is. Push past it to the real subject, fog banks, which is plural, so the verb is the plural, roll. One more. Beneath the floorboards hides a small key. The subject there is key, which is singular, so the verb is the singular hides. The lesson is always the same. A describing phrase up front is not the subject. Find the noun the sentence is really about. Let's turn all of this into one dependable method you can run every single time. Step 1. Find the verb. Step 2. Ask who or what is doing it, and look on the other side of that verb for the answer. Because in an inverted sentence, the subject usually sits after it. Step 3. Mentally rewrite the sentence in normal subject-then-verb order. And step 4. Make the verb match that subject in number. Watch it work. Across the courtyard echo the footsteps. Step 1. Find the verb. Echo. Step 2. Who echoes? The footsteps. Step 3. Rewrite it in normal order. The footsteps echo across the courtyard. And step 4. Match. Footsteps is plural, so echo is exactly right. Rewriting in normal order is what saves you, because it lines the subject up right beside the verb, where the agreement is impossible to miss. Before we practice, let's fix the single most common mistake in this whole lesson. People say, there's 2 seats left, or there's a few things to discuss. And it feels natural because there's rolls right off the tongue. But theirs is short for there is, and there is singular. The moment the real subject is plural, 2 seats, a few things, you need there are. So there's 2 seats left should be there are 2 seats left, and there's a few things to discuss should be there are a few things to discuss. The contraction hides the verb, which is what makes it such an easy trap. Train your ear on this. If what follows is more than one, say there are, never theirs. Let's practice. In this first set, every sentence either begins with there or here, or it's a question. So the subject is hiding somewhere after the verb. Your job is to pick the verb form that agrees. Find the real subject first, then choose. Pause the video and decide before I reveal each answer. Here blank the keys to the cabin. Remember, here is never the subject, so look right past it. The real subject is keys, and keys is plural, more than one key. So we need the plural verb. Here are the keys to the cabin. The answer is are. There blank a stack of letters on the desk. There can't be the subject, so find the real one. It's stack. And a stack is singular, just one stack, even though it holds many letters. So the verb is singular. There is a stack of letters on the desk. The answer is. Where blank the extra chairs stored. Flip it into a statement. The extra chairs are stored somewhere. Now the subject, chairs, stands right beside the verb, and it's plural. So we need are. Where are the extra chairs stored? The answer is are. In this second set, some of the sentences are already wrong. Decide what the correct version is. Fix the agreement or choose the sentence that's right. Same method as always. Find the true subject, then match the verb to it. Pause and commit before I explain. Fix this sentence. There's 4 questions left on the test. The subject is questions, 4 of them, so it's plural. But theirs means there is, and that's singular. We need the plural, there are. The correct version is, there are 4 questions left on the test. Which sentence is correct? The opening phrase is, beyond the dunes, but a phrase like that is never the subject. Push past it to the real subject, lighthouse, which is singular, just one. So the verb must be the singular rises. Beyond the dunes rises the lighthouse. That's the correct one. Choose the correct verb. Across the field, gallops or gallop the horses. Find the subject sitting after the verb, horses, which is plural. The describing phrase, across the field, is not the subject, so ignore it for agreement. The plural verb wins. Across the field, gallop the horses. The answer is gallop. Let's gather up everything we learned about inverted sentences. First, the big idea. The subject doesn't have to come first. It can follow the verb. In sentences that begin with there or here, in questions, and in sentences a writer has inverted for emphasis. In every one of those, the verb still has to agree with its subject in number. Second, remember that there and here are never the subject, and neither is an opening phrase like down the valley. So look past them to the real noun and match the verb to that. And third, when a sentence has you tangled, rewrite it in normal subject then verb order so the subject and verb stand side by side. And never let theirs stand in for a plural. If more than one thing follows, it has to be there are. Do that and inverted sentences lose all their tricks. In our next lesson, Lesson 45, we'll look at agreement with special subjects, the nouns that don't behave the way you'd expect. I'll see you there.